So last night, the Dallas Mavericks played the Golden State Warriors at home and won 109 to 99. And that is in despite of the Mavericks' poor shooting performance. Now, the Warriors didn't shoot amazing or anything, but the Dallas Mavericks went 6 for 27, so a total of 22%. That's one of the worst shooting games the Mavericks have had in the entire Luka era, and that's actually the first game that the Mavericks have won shooting less than 25% from three in the Luka era. Now, one major standout is obviously Daniel Gafford. So last night, Daniel Gafford ends the game with 7 blocks. 7 blocks. A Dallas Mavericks center ended the game with 7 blocks. And Gafford wasn't alone in his venture to just obliterate anything near the rim. PJ Washington joined him in with 3 blocks, and Derek Lively had 2 on his own. Kyrie also had 1. I honestly don't even remember the Kyrie block from the game. I think it was, they might have called one of those strip. You swipe down at the ball when they're going up, and sometimes they count as a block and sometimes they count as a steal. But nevertheless, the Dallas Mavericks finished the game with 13 blocks compared to the Warriors' 3. Now, looking at the game from a box score perspective, you might think that this was just an absolute defensive clinic, which in some senses of the word it was, but the Mavs rotations weren't great. There was lots of open shots for the Warriors, and that's a good reason why the Warriors were still in this game for most of it. Luka went ahead and checked out for an apparent hamstring injury with about 6 minutes to go in the fourth. It's more than likely that Luka's not going to play tonight against the Oklahoma City Thunder, which pains me because it would be nice to win one of these 2 games, whether against the Thunder or the Nuggets. But if I had to choose, I would probably pick him to sit out of the back-to-back game, even though I think with Luka playing, we're more likely to beat the Thunder than we are the Nuggets at this point in the season. But man, Luka Doncic played 29 minutes and ended with 21 and 9. That is easily the lowest box score numbers I've seen Luka have in quite a long time, and that's ridiculous because there's been plenty of all-stars throughout NBA history who would have loved to average 21 and 9. So yeah, back to Daniel Gafford. This guy is just on an absolute tear. He's not putting up just massive scoring numbers every night, although he did have 20 the other night. He only had 10 and 6, 2 steals, an assist, and 7 blocks, which obviously those 7 blocks definitely stand out a good bit. But another point to mention is Gafford's field goal streak is still going strong. 5 for 5 from the field last night, and now I believe he's at 33 straight made field goals. So tonight Gafford could actually break Wilt's streak, which I'm inclined to believe that Wilt had that streak, but is there any evidence of that streak? Or is this the bias talking because I love Daniel Gafford? Who knows? But nevertheless, Daniel Gafford has done something in his career that LeBron James has never done, and that no one has ever done in the play-by-play era. And that's just ridiculous. A center on the Dallas Mavericks is achieving an NBA record. It's just utterly ridiculous. Now, a couple other guys in the game who played pretty well. Kyrie finished the game with 23, 8, and 10, and I believe that's the closest he's gotten to a triple-double on the Mavericks. I could be completely wrong there, but I don't remember him having that many rebounds when he had a high assist game. I've seen him get double-digit rebounds, and I've seen him get double-digit assists, but typically when one of those is happening, the other one is at like 3 or 4. So, very good game from Kai. He didn't shoot the ball well from 3. No one did on the Mavericks because we made 6 3-pointers in the entire game, which is just like, I don't understand how we're shooting so poorly. It's absolutely ridiculous. But the Mavericks still pulled out a win, which obviously Steph Curry was not playing for the Warriors. So is this game some huge dub that you can take a ton away from? No. But it is nice to see that the Mavericks were able to get a win against any team while shooting 22% from 3, which to me is a really big deal because the Mavericks have been such a 3-point heavy team for such a long time now, especially in the Luka era. It's just really nice to see a win in the box score despite shooting 22% from 3. PJ Washington had himself a pretty good game. He was also just putting the clamps on defense. He also shoveled out 2 steals along with Gafford's 2 steals and shot 5 for 11 from the field, so just about 46% from the field. And he did go 1 for 6 from 3-point land, and that seems to be a common occurrence from last night's game. But man, what a game. What a stretch of games. These 4 games that there's just not a whole lot you can take away from, but that's still 4 dubs to the Mavericks record, and that's definitely helping Luka's MVP case. And the reason that's helping Luka's MVP case is because right now the Mavericks, Suns, and Sacramento Kings are all at 38 wins. The Mavericks have 1 more loss than both of them, and then the New Orleans Pelicans right ahead of them at 39 and 26. So theoretically, in a week and a half, the Dallas Mavericks could have secured the 5 spot. But do I think the Pelicans are continue to lose? No. But luckily, last night, the Cavs decided to go ahead and do us a favor this time and actually beat the Pelicans. The Bucks and Cavs have not been helping us out too much in the standings the past couple games. You'd think that they would have done us a favor, at least one of them do us a favor on those games, but yeah, at least they pulled out a win against the Pellies last night, so that gets us even closer. And tonight another bright side is that the Phoenix Suns are playing the Boston Celtics, and that's not a team that I would bet the Suns winning against for multiple reasons. The Phoenix Suns have been pretty reliant on sagging off of someone. So when the other team does not have a guy that you can kind of leave to his own devices, like the Boston Celtics, which there's not many teams that can just feel confident going into a game against the Boston Celtics, but I just don't. I'm gonna really sit down and pray that the Celtics can do us a solid tonight, and I'm gonna believe we can pray the Bulls will do us a solid against the Clippers, but I don't really see that happening. And finally, the Mavericks play the Thunder tonight, which I am very much so looking forward to. The Thunder, in our last matchup, the Mavericks just utterly obliterated them, and that was completely unexpected for me because you see, I've been paying pretty decently close attention to the Thunder this season, and it just seemed like every strength they have is exactly what's going to exploit the Mavs on defense. And I mean, obviously, despite Josh Giddey being out there, if Josh Giddey's not on the floor and we don't have Luka tonight, there's a good chance that tonight doesn't go our way. And then Sunday, we do have a game against the Denver Nuggets at 2:30, which Luka also might sit out of. Over these next couple days, the Pelicans play the Clippers, which, you know, I did say the Clippers have been a little rocky the past couple games, but the Clippers are a good team to bet on. Pelicans are also a good team to bet on, so I'm not going to write that down in the books, assuming that the Clippers are going to beat the Pelicans or anything like that, but there's a good chance that the Clippers could do us a solid tomorrow night as well. And on Saturday, the Knicks play the Kings, so that could be a helpful game for us, which the Knicks are fairly injured right now, but those guys do not want to lose. Even when they have guys injured, there's just other guys that step up. Obviously not going to play as well as the other guys, but nevertheless, the Dallas Mavericks play tonight, so we will see. Tonight is our first legitimately difficult matchup in the past 4 games. This is for sure going to be a test tonight. If Luka sits out, you can be expecting some heavy Kyrie minutes. Hopefully we can see a PJ Washington scoring outburst, Gafford's continuation of field goal perfection, and I would really like to see some Hardy minutes tonight if Luka is sitting, because one, we're going to need some more ball handling, and Tim Hardaway Jr. does not give you ball handling. But Hardy gives you the ball handling, and there's just no way anyone can convince me that Hardy has any worse decision-making issues than Tim Hardaway Jr. And Hardy's been hitting his shots, given they've been in garbage time for the most part in the past couple months, but Hardy's been hitting them and Tim hasn't. So hope for some Hardy minutes. Yes, so the injury report against the Thunder tonight, Luka's out and Omax is out. So looks like tonight might be a grind. Well, anyways, tune in tomorrow if you want to hear another post-game recap and another preview for the upcoming games and schedules. I'll be here. See ya.